Welcome to Sounds Heavenly and a hidden corner in Bang & Olufsen's factory in Struer in Denmark. In summer 2022, B&O were able to acquire one of Denmark's best historic Bang & Olufsen collections, and you and I are going to be the first people outside the factory to see it. Now at the moment we've got everything from recent products, current products, going all the way back to the 1920s, and as we walk through the collection you'll see that I'll identify as many of these items as I can, so please feel free to scroll back and forth through the video. If I've made any mistakes, please let me know. This has taken hours of work to identify these wonderful products. In many cases you'll see that the model numbers identify the year of manufacture. So in this case the Standard Deluxe 40K, the Master 43 were from 1940, 1943 respectively. This 3-lamper radio from the 1920s is interesting. It may actually not be a B&O product. Some iconic products from the 1930s and 40s. At the moment this collection has not yet been fully organised and curated. It's literally just been laid out on a table so that the process of identifying and working with these items can start. We're here in the 1980s and 90s with some of B&O's most iconic televisions, but we've got some wonderful items from B&O's audio and video history here. The M20, that's quite an unusual one. People generally know the MX TVs which followed it, but that was the first of those stylish little portable TVs. We've got some real oddities, the audio video switches, the iconic Beolab 5000, BM Master 5000 system from the 1960s. And here, this is incredible, feel free to pause this. We've got the shavers, the BM5 and BM6 microphones. We've got a wonderful collection of Beocom telephones and mobile phones, including the Serenata, which I know several people are still using. More of the MX TVs, and we've got quite an incredible display of remote commanders and remote controls, including some of the two-way systems. These are quite incredible, and I don't think I've ever seen all of these together in one place. The U70 headphones are one of my favourites. They launched B&O into the headphone market back in the 70s and still really good quality today. We've got some of the more recent music systems and some icons from the 1960s and 70s here. And a lot of collections avoid or miss out TVs, and there are some gems here. The 7702 I think was B&O's first colour TV if I remember right. The iconic Beovision 600 on the trolley. And we've got some beautiful items here. Feel free to add in the comments anything I've missed out. There are a few of the TVs that are outside of my knowledge, so I couldn't identify them. But coming up in a moment is one that I couldn't fail to spot. The iconic wheelbarrow TV with the two handles that pull out from the sides of the cabinet so that you can move it around. A portable TV. That's quite an incredible piece of history there, a real rarity. Moving on, we've got some of the early radiograms and floor standing radios. I love the 1939 model range, the way that the radio stations were identified as individual buttons so that you could press a button and go immediately to your preset station. That was iconic and revolutionary at the time. And here we see the craftsmanship of these wonderful old systems. The Master system at the time was a real stage setting item. These were wonderful systems. The Ronstrahler is the first, as far as I'm aware, omnidirectional tweeter. It could send high frequency sound all around your room, and Again, this put Bang & Olufsen at the forefront of audio technology at the time. I think here we've got prototypes for the iconic Beovox 2500 speakers. You may notice the display podiums that are behind the products. They're actually going to be used as part of the final display once this has been curated. We've got some wonderful Beovox speakers. The little Beovox 1000s were my first introduction to B&O as a child. And we come through to some of the newer speakers. Many viewers will know those, but who can tell me what this unusual item is? You'll see from the cables, this is functional. It is the iconic Hyperbo 5 RG steel, but it is not an original 1930s model. This is one of the handful of items that were produced by B&O for their 75th anniversary by their own craftsmen to the original design. It is an absolute showstopper, and it's wonderful to actually see that this has been assembled using early 1930s parts. We have original shellac record discs in the pull-out record tray. I believe that this actually uses a Superbo chassis inside rather than Hyperbo, because the Hyperbo chassis are virtually non-existent now. But to see something like this in working order, despite it not having complete 100% 1930s provenance, it is still incredible, and I must count this as one of the highlights of my entire tour with B&O. Let's have a look forward through some of the more recent audio systems. We've got some true icons of B&O here. The Beomaster 6000, so going through the 1960s and 70s, Bang & Olufsen remained at the forefront of design, and these products still are immediately recognisable as Bang & Olufsen all these years later. It's fantastic to see the way that this collection has grown. I understand this was owned previously by a private individual who had them arranged across 4 rooms in his home as a mini museum. And now to see these items arrayed out in the B&O factory, it's quite amazing just to see how much he had been able to amass. The wonderful old radios show the craftsmanship and woodworking skill that Bang & Olufsen had, and the design as we move into the early 1960s changed and moved forward. And now this round speaker is very interesting. It's not a Bang & Olufsen product, it's made by Lauritz Knudsen, and I think it's the LK50 model from the late 1920s. Moving through to the era of World War II, we've got the Mini 43, and then post-war the Jet 505. Now that's it, very much in the style of the Beolit 39. Got most of the models from that era, and now there is a Beolit 40 black in Bakelite that's part of this collection, but it's not shown here, it's on display separately at the moment. I do love the Mini Ultra 608, and there are some of these early 1960s items that really showed a move in design from these previous wartime and post-war products. Again, it's lovely to see the radio stations listed here so that you could reach them with a touch of a button. I found it absolutely thrilling to see so many B&O products here, all in the same place. And we've got obviously a good range of Beolit radios, as any good B&O collection will have, and right back to some of the early all-in-one music systems. So when you consider now Beolab 90 being a real show-stopping design that will be the centrepiece of any high-end home, that was the case in 1939 with this Master Deluxe unit, and with the other floor standing radiogram units of the time. These really were at the cutting edge of high-end audio, and that continued through the 70s with the 8000 system here, which is still in use with a lot of people who are B&O fans. Moving forward to the late 80s, and the B&O systems that many of us know and love are represented here. I love the fact that this collection isn't just about one era or one type of product. We've got such a range. I had a pair of Redline speakers, and yeah, I wish I'd never sold them. And we've got the later icons. The 1990s saw the B&O Sound 9000, which is probably most people's introduction to B&O. And who knew that Bang & Olufsen made skis? I've seen, I think, 3 or 4 pair of these during my trip to Denmark, and it's nice to see just the range of products that B&O have been involved with. And since the 1980s, they've pioneered multi-room audio, and it's great to see a little display of the products that make that possible. I'm absolutely amazed looking around this room just how flexible and versatile Bang & Olufsen has been over the span of almost a century. With DVD, hard drive, VHS and V2000 videos, B&O Cord cassette decks, and the era of the 1970s with Philips embodied products that maybe weren't the highest point of B&O's time, going back to some of the things where they worked alongside Torrens to produce broadcast grade turntables, and some of their very early standalone stereo record players. Did you know that B&O made video cameras? And not only that, they made the video recorders to go with them. So the B&O Cord 4000 video is a really nice find for a B&O collection. Alongside these open reel tape recorders, you may have spotted the B&O Cord 84U in the background, which we'll come to in a few moments' time. But I do love these open reel recorders, and hidden away here is what is probably the single most significant part of the collection, which we'll come to in a moment. Let's have a little look around these B&O lit radios and the B&O System 10 that followed. It's incredible. So there's a lot here. Please feel free to pause this and have a look through. I know many B&O fans have their own favourite B&O lit model. I think we've got most of the key ones represented. But this is really special. The Eliminator was Bang & Olufsen's first product. This Eliminator might actually be a prototype, as it doesn't carry the Bang & Olufsen wording anywhere on it. We've got a lovely display including the Bel Canto portable open reel recorder and their wire recorder. So that's the one we saw the back of a moment ago. And it's good to see that as well as complete finished items, we've got chassis from different turntables here, B&O's first stereo gramophone. We're moving through at quite a pace. I recall my parents having a B&O Gram 1000. It's wonderful to see that as part of the collection here. I'm guessing that if you're viewing this video, you will have your own personal favourites here, and I've spotted quite a good number of items that I've known and loved over the years, and items that I would love to own. Please let me know in the comments, what's your favourite item? And this is the ideal time for me to introduce myself. I'm Steve from Sounds Heavenly. I'm a lifelong Bang & Olufsen fan and collector. And I'm on a mission to help people to get the best from their B&O products, whether that's new or old. So please get in touch at soundsheavenly.com if you need any help connecting or using your B&O products. Thank you for watching.